So when I go up and I get a call for a metal retrofit or a possible metal retrofit, I guess the first thing I like to determine in my mind, once I know what's happening, I got a little history from the owner or from who's ever in charge of that roof, I want to make sure that that roof is not shot. Why is it leaking? Because metal can last a good long time properly installed. So is it leaking because they've never maintained their flashings? Or is it leaking because the seams weren't properly put together? And I think once you determine that, then you can kind of move forward whether this is a candidate to be re-roofed or it just simply needs a repair. I find a lot of times I get up on metal roofs, they can just be fixed. They just never have been maintained their whole life. But it's typical, like a lot of building owners don't look at their roof until there's an issue. And that's the most important thing you can do with your roof is be proactive about it. Look at it twice a year. Look at it if you have a big weather event. Once we've determined that the structure can handle a new roof and the weight of a new roof, that the underlying support is there, which many times it is, then we're going to determine how do we fill in the flutes. So we'll design a flute filler that can level that roof to the top of the ribs. And then we'll determine, do we want to add additional insulation or we just want to add the very minimum in order to be able to re-roof this building. And then a lot of times we got to determine, typically we can't use the existing gutter that's there. And what has to be done with that edge? Does it have to be cut off even with the siding? Does that have to be filled in with wood? Because when you hang a gutter on there, you can't run your insulation out to the edge because you could crush it real easy. So you're going to want a good strong edge, and you're going to have to put blocking in there, get that thing flush so your gutter sets even. I think the biggest determining thing on a metal retrofit system is the strength of your existing metal. Once you pull test it and figured out your fastening pattern, if you have to use additional fasteners or if you have to fasten it to the original purlins, which supports the metal. And then two, how much insulation gain do you want? Do you want to do the bare minimum or do you want to gain R value in your roof system, which can save you money a lot of times in metal retrofits. A lot of times the underlying batten insulation has gotten moist from condensation. Because if you think about it, the metal's there and you got a batten that's basically hanging below it. Well, if that batten creates a gap in there, you get condensation directly on the underside of that metal. May never leak in your building, but it can drip down and hit that insulation, collapsing it. So you might start out with an R value of 20, but you could be actually living with an R value after 10 years of maybe simply 4 or 5 and not even know it. So a lot of times metal roofs fail pretty prematurely. And I think they're one of the fastest failing roofs in the industry. Because it's like a metal roof, you got one chance to put it on right. And if you don't get it right, then it's a problem forever.